Well, I think that stare down was everything we hoped it would be here between Triple G and Canelo Alvarez facing off for the first time since seeing one another in the ring in September of 2018. And in a moment, we're going to have Matchroom Chairman Eddie Hearn step into the picture. He was right there. He can give us a sense of what he saw in each fighter's eyes. Eddie, welcome to the studio. Welcome to LA. Hey, let me get this straight here. Australia, Saudi Arabia, Texas. Here. Did you make a pit stop anywhere?
I don't know where I am, but I was there, and I had the best seat in the house. That was something very special.
What did you see in each eye?
I saw a fired-up Canelo Alvarez and a very stubborn Gennady Golovkin. You know, I feel like sitting backstage and listening to what each of them just said about each other, I want them to say it up here now. Todd Grisham's going to be live with the guys now doing that job, and they don't like each other. That's the reality of the situation. You know, Canelo Alvarez feels that Gennady Golovkin has said some things he shouldn't have. And I want to see if Gennady can say those things today. But it's just a brilliant fight. You know, the undisputed super middleweight championship of the world between the unified middleweight champion of the world and the undisputed super middleweight champion of the world. It's two legends of the sport of boxing going at it one more time.
I would ask for a preview of what they said, but hey, we're so close to seeing.
There wasn't really anything said. There was nothing said. You know, no one needed to say anything. The look said it all. You know, Canelo made that clear by stepping over the line, you know, and getting amongst it in the face of Gennady Golovkin, and he was going nowhere. You know, and when I asked him to turn to the front, there was no interest there either. But it just shows you what this fight means. Yes, every belt in the division is on the line, but this is personal. This fight, and sometimes we say fights are personal because that's our job, but the media, you know, they know what was said backstage, and I'm looking forward to getting them up there in a few minutes.
So over the last 6 to 8 months here, as things progress in 2022, you see this match finally being able to come to fruition. When you approach both fighters here, what was their response to you now nearly 4 years later?
I think for a long time, there was almost too much bad blood where Canelo Alvarez didn't want to give Gennady Golovkin the opportunity because of what he'd said or the way he reacted to specifically the defeat in the second fight. And sometimes that bad blood can stop fights from happening. So, you know, now we're at a point where this is it. This is the moment. You know, Gennady Golovkin wants to try and get that victory in the trilogy, and Canelo Alvarez wants to retire him. That's what he just said. I want to retire him. I want to finish him on September 17th. And you'll hear him say that in a minute. And I've not really heard him speak like that before, you know. But like I said, a lot of history, 2 incredible fights, 24 wonderful rounds, and we're going to start number 25 on September the 17th, live on DAZN.
Different element, though, as we begin round 25. Canelo is going to enter round 25 coming off a defeat. Do you think that amplifies this third meeting?
Yeah, I think, there was always that air of invincibility about Canelo Alvarez, which disappeared in the Dimitri Bivol fight, but he got beat. This was a guy who everybody felt was almost unbeatable and got beat. So that's good news for Gennady Golovkin, because Canelo Alvarez may have his confidence dented, but it could be bad news for Gennady Golovkin, because you see a hungry Canelo Alvarez, a guy that wants to right the wrongs. He wants to beat Gennady Golovkin, then he wants to rematch Dimitri Bivol and put that right. And the resume is incredible. It just gets stronger and stronger and stronger. And they're 2 icons, 2 legends of the sport. Like I said, 2 great fighters, 2 great individuals. I can't wait. Honestly, I know I'm promoting the fight, but as a fight fan, standing up there just then was one of the great moments, not just of my career, of my life, to be able to see those 2 and see what it meant. When my knees start going up there, that's quite unusual. I've got a good bit of experience. They were going.
This is a rare occurrence. Okay. Hey, we captured it all on camera. But yeah, the first leg of the press tour here. Obviously, we'll be in New York on Monday, but here you see the arrivals and the red carpet scene right outside the Hollywood Legion Theater. Canelo and Team Canelo Alvarez. Alvarez fielding questions from the reporters as he and Triple G made their way inside here in Hollywood. This is a packed theater as well. As Canelo is coming off that second career defeat, but he is determined, going back down to 168 pounds. And there you see all the hardware. First time that these 2 will be fighting at 168 pounds. How do you think Triple G wears those extra 8 pounds?
I actually think it will suit be really well. I think it's great news for him at 168. This is a guy who's been at 160 for, how many years? Over a decade of fighting at 160 pounds. And to not move up, I think you look at the Murata fight particularly, I think he felt that. He felt the weight there. And I think he's going to be strong at 168. You saw him up there. He's a big guy. Every time Canelo seems to face off with his opponent, he looks like the smaller man. And he looks like the smaller man again against a middleweight, to be honest with you. And I think the weight is really going to help Gennady Golovkin in this fight.
That's it. But also power. Power doesn't leave you. Even though everyone wants to make a big deal that Gennady Golovkin turned 40 this year. How real is the power with Triple G still at this point in his career?
Well, one of the biggest pound-for-pound punchers, one of the greatest knockout artists in the sport's history, quite frankly. And the power is definitely still there. And by the way, I know that he's at the back end of his career. He's lived a good life in boxing. So he's not ballooned in between fights. He's not eaten badly. He doesn't go out and party or drink, So this is a very fresh 40-year-old, and this is a very motivated 40-year-old as well. And you see it in the eye. You see it in the eye up there, what it means to him. And there will not be a backward step at the T-Mobile Arena on September 17th.
When you think about what happened here in the second match, September of 2018, nominated and named the Ring Magazine Fight of the Year for 2018, extremely even, extremely tight through those first 8 rounds. In your opinion, what do you think put Canelo over the top over those championship rounds?
Both very close fights, the first and the second fight. Gennady Golovkin felt he won the fight. Canelo Alvarez obviously felt he won the fight. He did win the fight, but they were very, very close fights, very, very competitive. And, I'm sure Gennady feels like he should have won that night, but he gets a chance to do it again September 17th.
And then when you think about all of the storylines packed into this and the people involved outside of the 2 fighters, this is going to be the first time that Jonathan Banks is in this trilogy, this series, this head-to-head matchup. For a trainer coming in, how do you think he tries to ingratiate himself in what Triple G driving the truck here, obviously? Is this different because it is Canelo between the trainer and the fighter? What do you think?
No, I think that, Jonathan Banks is a great trainer. He's got a huge amount of experience, obviously, most of that with Vladimir Klitschko and as a fighter himself. But I think that they're going to enjoy this camp. I think that the weight, as I said earlier, will be a benefit to them in this fight. They can, work on power, work on, a lot of lifting and being strong in this fight. And I think both guys have the mentality that this fight is not going 12 rounds. I know certainly from Canelo Alvarez's point of view, the only thing he has in his mind is winning this fight by knockout.
All right, let's talk about the venue. T-Mobile Arena, back there for a third time in this series.
We were trying to figure out, actually, earlier, of the great trilogies of the past, how many have been in the same arena.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe some stato out there can give us those facts, but it's very unusual. So, T-Mobile Arena, fantastic arena. Obviously hosted the first 2 fights. It will host the third as well. And, there's nothing like Vegas on a Mexican holiday as well.
That's right.
We're going to build a great card, and it's going to be an incredible night.
Why do you think you wanted to keep that all symmetric there? What made sense about T-Mobile?
I just think Vegas is Vegas, it's hard to beat. And obviously when you have a fight of this magnitude and the broadcaster wants to keep it on American fight time, Vegas is the place. Madison Square Garden, one of my favorites. But when you're talking about generating dollars and the thrill of fight week, sometimes Las Vegas is the perfect destination.
No better place for fight fans. Obviously, they're going to come out with it being Mexican Independence Day weekend. Let's talk about legacies now. I know it's kind of cliche, but this is the third time they're hooking up here. What would a win do for each fighter's legacy?
Well, I think for Gennady Golovkin, in terms of legacy, it would mean more because, this is the real marquee victory that he needs. He's unified divisions before. Just saw him recently do that on the road in Tokyo. We've seen him in tremendous fights all around the world. For Canelo Alvarez, this is just another incredible part of that run that we've never seen anything like. You go back to obviously the first 2 Gennady Golovkin fights, and then you go to Daniel Jacobs, Sergey Kovalev, the 3 champions that he beat en route, Callum Smith, Billy Joe Saunders, and Caleb Plant, Dmitry Bivol, Gennady Golovkin, probably Dmitry Bivol again if he wins. It's incredible. This is an absolute legend of the sport. And win or lose, both guys will go down as modern-day greats.
And then with Canelo coming off the defeat in May, have you noticed anything different in the way you've talked to him since that night?
He's a little bit shorter in the run-up to this fight, I think. But that's really down to Gennady Golovkin. He doesn't like him. And again, sometimes as a promoter, you try and build that hype and that dislike. It's there, and you'll hear and see it in a minute. You saw it up there. I can't wait. This is going to be a spiteful build-up and a very spiteful fight.
And we always see at the end of matches, fighters kind of coming together after that long campaign toward fight night. I don't know if we're going to see it after this third match. We certainly didn't see it after the second one. We're not going to see it here. We're not going to see it Monday. So that'll be very interesting to watch. The animosity is real, and it is brilliant here for Fight Fans. We're going to let you get up to the dais as we get going here with Canelo and Triple G. Again, third meeting, nearly 4 years in the making. But the time has arrived, and we are about to push the launch button to Canelo Triple G 3, the trilogy.
Very few fights can be called super fights. This is one of them. Both men are firing what they've got.
This is a draw. There has to be a rematch. And new there's a score to settle.
There's real bad blood here.
Everybody wants to fight, right? He took a lot of shit.
I don't want talking with him. I want to fight.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Los Angeles for the first leg of what can only be described as a super fight. We saw there the head-to-head. It's the trilogy. Canelo Alvarez against Gennady Golovkin for the undisputed super middleweight championship of the world. September 17th, T-Mobile Arena, Las Vegas, live on DAZN pay-per-view. This fight has everything. Two global icons of the sport of boxing, two legends of the sport of boxing, the unified middleweight champion of the world, Gennady Golovkin, against the undisputed super middleweight champion of the world, Canelo Alvarez. And we cannot wait for this fight. It has absolutely everything. Two great fighters, two great trainers, backstory, incredible 24 rounds of action. This time, I truly believe you will get an even better fight on September the 17th. We're going to speak to all the members of the teams up here and, of course, the fighters. I'm going to start with you, Sal, if that's okay, as the champion. This fight, I've never quite seen you in this frame of mind before. Talking to the media backstage there, the head-to-head up there. Is it fair to say this fight is personal for you?
Yeah, it's personal for me, and this is the way I am. I'm not pretending to be a other person or say things in media or no, in other place and come here and pretend I don't say anything. I don't want to say anything. No, it's personal for me because he talk a lot of things, and guys, that's why it's personal. And I just can't wait to be in that ring.
You said backstage that you felt that when you come face to face, he doesn't say those things, but sometimes in interviews or media, he'll say that. You said talking about two different people in Gennady Golovkin.
Yeah, he's two different people. He pretends to be a nice guy, but he's not. He's an asshole. That's what he is. He pretends to be a nice guy, and oh yes, I'm just looking for the fight. I'm happy, but in another place he talk a lot of shit. It is what it is. Just be a man and say what you say.
You talked also backstage about wanting to destroy him, wanting to finish his career.
Really
That's how you feel. You want to finish the career,
and I will do it for sure.
You believe you win this fight by knockout on September the 17th?
That's the only way I want to finish this fight.
We'll come back to you, Sal. Gennady, welcome. A lot said, and I like this. I'm a promoter. Everybody likes this. You know, we laugh and we hear things that are said backwards and forwards. You're a very respectful man, great fighter as well. But is this, if you're putting your fighting face on, is this personal for you as well, this fight?
Can I speak Russian? Yeah, help me. Ну, я не думаю, что это для меня прям такой личный вопрос, потому что переубеждать в чем-то кого-то, то есть что я хороший человек или плохой человек, я не собираюсь. Я являюсь тем, кем я являюсь. И скажу так, то есть я не испытываю ничего персонального, то есть я выхожу боксировать и выхожу боксировать. То есть для меня это совсем другое, как вижу я эту ситуацию. Если у него есть что-то персональное ко мне, но это точно не мои проблемы, это его вывод. Как я могу его переубедить в этом?
I do not take this as personal. I think it is sport. I am who I am. I do not try to be like different guys, like it's been said. I go out to box. If he has something personal against me, I believe it's his problem, not mine.
You talk about those two fights, incredible fights. You stand by, you believe your hand should have been raised in those two fights. This is the last fight between you two for sure this time. How much do you want victory on September the 17th?
Ну, я уверен в том, что для того, чтобы подняли руку, надо сделать очень много. И это главное, над чем мы оба работаем, я думаю, и оба мотивированы. То есть для того, чтобы подняли наши руки.
I'm confident that in order to have your hand raised, you have to do a lot. Both of us realize that, and we contribute 100% to that. We both want this to happen.
We'll come back to you. Gennady, bring in the trainers now. Jonathan Banks, welcome. The first time as part of this trilogy,
very exciting. I was enjoying the head-to-head up there. I think you said that's enough at one stage, and I wanted it to go on a little bit longer. But these are the fights we live for, right? Great fighter yourself. Been a trainer of so many big nights, big fights. Doesn't get much bigger than this, and I know you're going to come very well prepared for September 17th.
Yeah, 100%. This is a great stage to be on, and I'm looking forward to the fight. 100%.
Talk about the move to 168. This is a world-class fighter that's been at 160 for many, many years. You know, you look in the head-to-head there, he's a big middleweight, as many people outside Canelo Alvarez as well. But a lot of people feel that actually the move to 168 is going to benefit him in this stage of his career.
I don't think it'll be a beneficial nor a decline to either fighter to move up to go to 168. He's been at 160 and he's been reigning in for the longest of times. But going to 168, it's just a matter of training and adjusting yourself to going to 168. I don't think it's going to be a setback or any type of downfall.
You must have watched the Dimitri Bivol fight, of course, and that defeat. A good time to fight Canelo Alvarez, a bad time to fight Canelo Alvarez coming off that defeat?
I mean, I just think it's depending on who you are. Like, it's never a good time to fight Canelo Alvarez. Man, he is the same guy who he always going to be. He's going to bring the hardest fight to whoever he's in the ring with. You know, so I'm not out in no way, shape, form, or fashion would I look at it like, okay, now's the perfect time, or this is the perfect time. Canelo Alvarez is a world-class fighter. That's easily said, and he's never been afraid of anybody. You know, it's just a matter of who wants to get in there with him. Now he got a guy like G who wants to get in there with him and want to compete with him. And I think, in my opinion, G is also one of the fearless guys that's coming to fight, that's coming to take what he felt that he should have had in the first place. You know, so, and I think that's what's going to make this such an awesome fight, is because both guys is looking at each other like, I got something to prove. And I think that's what's going to make this a beautiful fight. And both of them, as Canelo said, he says the only way this fight ends, in his opinion, if you put G's if you beat him into retirement. So that's a hell of a statement. So it's going to be a great fight.
Thank you, Jonathan. Eddie, welcome. Again, great seeing the hunger that Saul always has, the fire that he has in his belly for this fight. An exciting fight. September 17th, you're ready for camp for what should be a tremendous third fight between these two great fighters.
Sí, pues contentos de una vez más enfrentarnos a Golovkin. Creo que él es el mejor 160 libras contra el mejor 168. Ya se conocen. Pues como dice Saúl, esto es personal para él y no queda más que prepararse bien, entrenar bien para volverle a ganar.
Yes, once again, we're facing Golovkin, who is the best at 160, and he's facing the best at 168. They know each other. They've, as Saul says, this is something that is personal for him. So the only thing that we have to do is train well, prepare well to win him, to beat him again.
Obviously, the Bivol defeat was tough to take, but you know Canelo Alvarez, you know how he bounces back. You see a very hungry fighter going into the ring for this very important match in his career.
Sí, la pelea contra Bivol fue una derrota que caló, pero pues yo conozco a Saúl, siempre eso le sirve para regresar más fuerte y lo van a ver el 17 de septiembre.
Yes, the loss was the loss that really hurt. It really hurt, but I know Saul, and Saul, this helps him to come back stronger, and you'll see that on September 17th.
And finally, Saul's made it very clear that he believes he wins this fight by knockout as his trainer. Do you believe in that result?
Pues vamos a prepararnos fuerte. Lo que sí les digo es que vamos a salir desde el primer round a ganar la pelea y ojalá y sea por nocaut.
Well, what I can tell you is that we're going to prepare strongly for this fight. And since from the first round, we're going to come out to win the fight, and hopefully it'll be by knockout.
Thank you, Eddie. Gennady, a lot of questions about your age. You look fantastic. You look extremely fresh. We talked about the move to 168 pounds. I'm sure 160 was very tough, particularly in Japan as well. But how do you feel ahead of this fight?
Ну, я чувствую, что да, действительно это будет новый этап для меня. Ну, то есть многие чемпионы, многие спортсмены в этой ситуации оказываются. Я думаю, я сделаю все лучше, покажу лучшего себя в этой ситуации. Посмотрим, время покажет, бой покажет.
I feel that it's going to be like a new stage for me. And a lot of boxers found themselves in this situation before. I certainly going to prepare and I'm going to show my best.
I've seen certain things said between the two of you guys, but if you speak from the heart, do you respect this man? Do you like this man?
Вы знаете, как бы много можно говорить. Я скажу за него персонально, да, то есть, конечно, как то, что чего он достиг в спорте, то, что какой бокс он показывает, это заслуживает уважения, потому что я большой фанат бокса. Но то, что вот эти вот эмоции, которые происходят сейчас, я не понимаю, потому что у нас было прекрасных 2 боя, после чего, то есть мы обнялись, пожали руки, и как бы сейчас заново что-то получается. Он говорит, что я много что-то говорю. Не знаю. Что-то я сказал, что-то неправильно или что-то необычного, как бы я в этом не нахожу ничего, что я сказал что-то плохое в его сторону.
You know, if we take my opponent's achievements, I believe he did great because I'm a big fan of boxing, and from that standpoint, I respect him a lot. And as for him saying that it's personal, I really don't understand what he's talking about because after the second fight, we shake hands, and I believe we put everything behind us back then. And if he says that he still has something against me, I believe it's his problem, not mine.
So finally, the last word to you. You buy that? Yeah. You shake hands, it's over. You respect one another.
That's what I think in that fight. That's what I think the same way. He's saying, and that's it. We shake hands. But after that, he starts talking. So no make sense. But it is what it is. I'm just glad to be here, and I can't wait.
Fired up, coming back from the defeat. I know it hurt, that defeat to Dimitri Bivol, but hungrier than ever.
Yeah.
And ready to put in a career best performance.
More dangerous than ever.
More dangerous.
Yeah.
Thank you, Eddie. Thank you, Sal. Thank you, Gennady, Jonathan, as well. I've got to say, as a fight, special fight to be involved with. This is one of the biggest fights that we've ever been involved with at Matchroom. Of course, the Zone pay-per-view, a huge moment for the platform. 2 incredible fighters, 2 icons of the sport of boxing, the unified middleweight world champion, Gennady Golovkin, against the undisputed super middleweight champion of the world. T-Mobile Arena, September the 17th. Everything on the line, and we cannot wait for an incredible fight. We're going to have one more head-to-head up here with the belts, and then the fighters are going to be available for the media. On Monday, we will be in New York for the second leg of the press conference. The pre-sale started today. Of course, tickets are going to go extremely quickly at T-Mobile. General sale begins on Monday. Wherever you are in the world, do not miss Canelo against Triple G 3, the trilogy, live on the Zone pay-per-view, September the 17th. Thank you.
Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Golovkin with one more stare down. Canelo all business. Smirk from